What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Off the Shelves. Yep, I took last month off. Time got away from me, then it was too late in the month for me to do it, so I figured I would just wait and do one massive episode this month. So, welcome back to Off the Shelves. This is my Blu-ray haul, Blu-ray collection video if you've never seen these before, so something a little bit different. Get to talk about a lot of movies that I saw in theaters that I maybe didn't get a chance to review, or movies that I didn't get to see in theaters that I finally have checked out. So I'm going to show you everything that I got and give you my mini reviews for them for the ones that I actually have had time to watch. So, starting right off at the top, these are in no particular order because there's way too many for me to even try to organize, is one that is one of the biggest flops of this year thus far, and that is the 4K release of Hellboy, which I'll be honest, I picked up out of sheer curiosity because everybody was talking about how bad this thing was. The trailers did interest me a little bit towards the end, not really the Moni Billy Idol trailer, but the one that was a little bit more bloody. And I will say this movie is not nearly as bad as a lot of people are making it out to be, but it's not good. It's not a good film at all. It feels like a lot of different ideas kind of coming together. You read about some of the behind the scenes drama that makes total sense. I think David Harbour's really good in the role, and I did get really pumped like in the last 5 minutes, as sad as that is. I was kind of like in and out of the movie like, this is stupid, this is kind of cool, this doesn't make any sense, this is weird. But then you get to the very end of it, and it gives you an action scene that's shot really well, and it has Motley Crue playing, and it kind of leaves you in this space where you're like, you know what, fuck it, I want some more. But we're never gonna get more. They're never gonna make another one of these, so that's a little bit disappointing of a note to end on, but I will say it's not worth your money. It is definitely a skip it because it's just not a very good film, but it's not nearly as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. So if you're a Hellboy fanatic, give it a shot. Moving on from that is one of the bigger surprises so far this year, and that is Longshot. I do have a review for this one. I saw it in theaters. I really enjoyed this. I enjoy Seth Rogen overall. Charlize Theron's a very good actress. She's funny. She can do action. She can do horror and stuff like that. She's very well diversified. But this is kind of a romantic comedy where Seth Rogen is like a journalist, like a political journalist. She is Secretary of State or something along those lines, and she's getting ready to run for president. So he starts kind of writing speeches for her, and she was his nanny, basically, his babysitter back whenever he was a kid. So they kind of have this rekindle, and it's a romantic comedy that, despite the fact that you would think that a guy like Seth Rogen would never land a girl like Charlize Theron, the movie does a damn good job at convincing you of that, and it's a very sweet and funny and raunchy movie that I had a good time with. So I would say go out and buy this one. Moving on from that is 8 films. I'm not going to review all of them. I actually just filmed my ranking for this franchise, so that'll probably be up before you see this anyway. This is the Fast and Furious collection on 4K. I already owned these on Blu-ray, so I figured why not? It was very cheap, and I'm a fan of this franchise, and why not upgrade to 4K to see all this glorious, over-the-top, crazy action in high definition. So I like most of these movies pretty well. There's some that I really enjoy. There's some that I enjoy for how ridiculously stupid they are, and I just kind of can throw them on for background noise and have a good enough time with them. There's none of them that I think are just absolute dumpster fires, but there's certainly some swaying quality in this franchise. But overall, I like a lot of these movies, and for this collection, I will say go out and buy it because it's a very fun franchise to own, and it was not very expensive for 8 films on 4K, so there you go. Moving on from that is, I will just show all of them because I have not seen any of them, and it's a little bit of a dick tease of some things that I have in the works for this October, so you heard it here first. And that is 4 of the Romero Dead films. I have Land of the Dead, I have Day of the Dead, I have Diary of the Dead, and I have Survival of the Dead. I have seen Night of the Living Dead, I have seen Dawn of the Dead, so I figured this might be a cool franchise to review this October. So keep your eyes out for that. I've not seen any of these, so I can't say anything beyond the fact that I own them. So I have no commentary for them, but just keep your eyes peeled. If you're a Romero fan, yeah, keep your eyes peeled for October. Fright Night Part 2. This is one that I had to get off of eBay. I've always been a huge fan of the first Fright Night. It's my second favorite vampire film behind Lost Boys, and I've never seen the sequel, so I don't have a review for you, but I've always been curious about it. I've always heard a lot of good things in the horror community about this one, so I was curious to check it out, so there you go with that one. One that Brian Lomax and Drum Dums are probably going to shoot me because I have yet to watch it, even though I've had this for, what, like a month now? Alita Battle Angel. I didn't really have a lot of interest in seeing this in theaters. Some of the trailers were good, some of the trailers didn't really interest me. It wasn't really my cup of tea, but a lot of people that I know have really hailed this as one of the better films of the year, so I wanted to check it out. I like an underdog story. This seemed like one. So yeah, I'm curious to check it out. I just haven't really been in the mood for a sci-fi action epic like this, so haven't got a chance to check it out yet. I'm a big fan of Let Me In, and I have never seen the original Let the Right One In, because for a long time I was very stubborn about not watching foreign films because I hate watching subtitles, but now that I've kind of grown to like foreign film to a degree, I figured I might as well add this to my collection and check this one out finally. So I already know the story, I already know how it goes. The story itself is to go out and buy it all day long. I love Let Me In, but there's elements to this that I've heard is a little bit better from a lot of people, so I don't know if I'll like this one better or not, being that I've seen Let Me In first and I've loved it for many years, but I wanted to check this one out and give it its fair shake. I'm sure I'm gonna like it. Beyond that, we have the 4K Best Buy exclusive Steelbook of Waterworld, a movie that, again, I have never seen. There's a lot of movies in this list that I'm not gonna be able to review, but anyway, my dad really likes this film. It seems like one of those movies that was shit on when it first came out, and since then there's been like more and more of a fan base for it. I don't know if it was just ahead of its time or people have grown to appreciate it, but I know the basic gist of it. I've seen some pieces of it, so I just figured, you know, what the fuck, I'll get it, I'll check it out finally. So haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but eventually I will make it there because it is an interesting looking movie to me. 4K double dip of Moon, because yes, I do own this on regular Blu-ray. This is a great sci-fi film. If you have not already seen this with Sam Rockwell, it's basically just him on the moon with a robot assistant voiced by Kevin Spacey. But this is a great sci-fi film with a really cool story, a lot of twists and turns along the way, so not much more I can say about it without spoiling stuff, but this is definitely a go out and buy it, so had to double dip with that one. Moving on from that is a film that I was sent in an unboxing, and that is Shocker. This is a Wes Craven film. I love the cover here, but it's one of the Wes Craven films that I have yet to see, so I don't have a review for it, but it is one of his movies that I hear a lot about in the horror community, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. The guy who made Wes Craven, or the guy who made Nightmare on Elm Street, made this, so it can't be too bad, can it? Another one that I was sent in an unboxing was City of the Living Dead. This is a documentary, I believe. I could be wrong. Nope, it's not a documentary, it's a movie. Never mind, I was wrong. So yeah, this is a zombie film, so I don't believe, yeah, Lucio Fulci. So this is a giallo zombie film. Even everything with Of the Dead, Of the Living Dead, I always think Romero, like the guy that's made all the zombie films we've ever seen. But have not had a chance to check this one out, obviously, but I look forward to eventually checking it out because I've kind of dipped my toe into Italian horror and giallo films and everything. Haven't had a lot of success yet. I liked Suspiria. I haven't really liked anything else that I've watched, so I'm curious to check out a zombie film from that era. And the last film that I was given in an unboxing is Widows. I did see this one on demand because Holly really wanted to check it out, so I rented it, watched it. It's a pretty good movie. I would say see it on Netflix. It's got a concept of you have a bank robbing group of husbands, like you got, I don't remember, you got Liam Neeson, but there's also a couple other guys that aren't listed. They're not top billing, but you got like John Bernthal, I believe is one of them, but they're husbands who are bank robbers. They die in the beginning of the movie, and the wives are left to settle the debts that they have with the mob. So then the wives had to plan their own heist. It's a pretty good movie. The acting is really good there. You got Viola Davis, who's good as the lead, Elizabeth Debicki, Michelle Rodriguez. They do really well with it. There's some obvious twists and turns I felt in the film that I saw a mile away that didn't really add to my enjoyment of it. It does go in a little bit of a cliche route here and there, but it's an entertaining film, so I would say see it on Netflix. One of my most disappointing thus far, but I still liked it enough to buy it because I'm a whore. Pet Sematary, the 4K Best Buy Steelbook. This is the remake. This is the one that was directed by the guys who did Starry Eyes, and this movie, while being shot well, while having some good performances, to me did not come anywhere close to how good the original Pet Sematary is. Now I know a lot of people don't have the love for that one that I do, but you have to understand Pet Sematary is what I consider the scariest movie that I've ever seen, because the movie and its story and its subject matter has just evolved as I've gotten older, had kids. The whole Zelda thing always scared the shit out of me as a kid, so I have a lot of love for that original film, and this one just paled in comparison in almost every single way. They're better actors, but they don't necessarily fit the roles better. There are twists and turns in this that don't really hit as hard as the way they were originally. There's a third act in this that goes in a completely different direction that doesn't really satisfy the way that the original did. So I enjoyed this enough. I'm sure if I rewatch it, I will like it a little bit more because I won't be as hard on it, won't have quite as high expectations, but to me, this doesn't compare to the original. But see it on Netflix. Shazam! This is a really fun entry in the DC universe, whatever the fuck they decide to call it. They still have not given an official name for this damn thing, but this is basically the DC universe having like a kid-friendly, family-friendly superhero. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought Zachary Levi was great in the role. I liked Billy Batson as a character. I thought the action scenes were really good. The comedy certainly worked very well, like the scene in the In-N-Out Mart. Pure gold. I really enjoyed this. Flaws, I mean, the villain's a little bit cliche. It is a little bit adolescent for me as far as my style of humor and what kind of darkness I like to see out of the DC universe that they've kind of shied away from ever since everybody shit all over Batman v Superman. So I enjoyed this quite a bit. Not my favorite of the DCEU, but certainly was one that I enjoyed the hell out of watching, and I'm sure I will enjoy every single time that I watch it. And I do look forward to a sequel and the eventual Black Adam movie. So I will say go out and buy Shazam. Just did my Quentin Tarantino ranking, and when I was going through all of his films, I realized I did not own the standalone Blu-ray for Death Proof. I only owned the Grindhouse. And Grindhouse has the theatrical cut of this, which cuts out the lap dance scene, amongst some other things, I believe. So, had to have that lap dance scene, I'll be honest. But Death Proof, I actually like this more than most Quentin Tarantino fans. It's higher up in my ranking than most people, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen that yet. But I really enjoy this. I think that it has a lot more merit than people give it credit for. Obviously, all the things you could say about any Quentin Tarantino movie. It's shot well, it's directed well, the dialogue is very sharp. I think the car chases in this are awesome, very old school practical car chases. I love the character of Stuntman Mike and Kurt Russell and the different dynamics we see of that character throughout the movie all the way to the third act. I like how the movie does take its time and has dialogue-driven scenes that introduce us to the victims of Stuntman Mike before we get to see Stuntman Mike. So, is it a little long? Yes. Is it a little bit dialogue heavy? Yes, but I actually enjoy what Quentin Tarantino was going for with this, and like I said, it is one of my favorite Tarantino films, so go out and buy this one. Oh, the one that sparked so much controversy and debate early on this year, and that is Jordan Peele's Us. Now, I have rewatched this film since the theaters. When I saw it in theaters, I came away a little bit higher than lukewarm with it. I enjoyed a lot of things about it, thought a lot of the story fell apart when they tried to explain a lot of things. A lot of huge logic issues for me that kind of just got shooed away with, well, I mean, you just kind of have to put two and two together, or, well, you know, if you stretch your belief to this, it makes sense. And to me, I just wasn't in that camp at all. To me, a lot of the things in the third act made no sense whatsoever if you stop to think about it at all. And that kind of makes everything fall apart when you're going for a very, I hate to use the word pretentious, but a pretentious, smart horror film that's trying to keep you in the dark and outsmart you, and then you get to some stupid shit and you're kind of like, okay, no, you fell apart there. But really good performance from Lupita Nyong'o and a lot of the other cast as well. It definitely has a creepy vibe to it. I like it when it's a home invasion film. I like how, you know, the different sides of these two, the different sides of the family that we get, the two different sides of them, the good side, the evil side. I do like what he was going for here. I like ambition. I like Jordan Peele so far. I just think that his movies are very overrated. It seems like whatever he does, people are like, best of the year, best ever. And I'm like, no, not quite. So I will say to go out and buy this still. I've raised it a little bit from see it in Netflix, which I think or see it online, which I think I've given it when I did my official review for it. But I like it more for the ambition now. It doesn't bug me quite as much. I do think that it's worth checking out for the artistic merit and the drive, but just kind of keep your expectations a little bit modest. This is not the greatest thing since sliced bread. I love this movie. Weird Science, dum dum. One of John Hughes' best movies, and this is the Arrow release. I already own the regular Blu-ray of it, but anytime Arrow or Shout Factory or Scream Factory has like a special edition, I always get the new one because I'm a whore. I say it all the time. Weird Science is one of my favorite 80s comedies. You get two geeks, one of them played by the great Anthony Michael Hall, and they basically make a woman with their computer. And there's a lot of comedy that ensues with that where, you know, they have this gorgeous like model that basically they can tell to do whatever they want. And she kind of pushes them out of their shell and gets them to interact, gets them to throw a party, kind of breaks them out of their little geek bubble. And it's just a great comedy. It's a great movie. There's good music. You got Bill Paxton in an unforgettable role. It's hilarious. So Weird Science, absolutely go out and buy this one. Thanks to my good buddy CP for sending me this one, Ragman, which is actually Trick or Treat. So you guys have heard me talk about this movie. Why do I have dog hair flying around? You can't see it, but I can see it, and it's driving me nuts. Huskies, hair, all the time. Anyway, Trick or Treat. This is a foreign release that has like a book, and you know, it's press notes and everything like that about the movie, and production notes. And this is one of my favorite 80s horror films. It's totally underrated. If you watch it now, if you've never seen it before, it's probably gonna be a little cheesy for you, but I grew up with this. It's my favorite movie soundtrack of all time. It's got the story of, you got Ragman, who is basically, he's a rocker. He's kind of the geek in the 80s because, you know, when you were a metal fan, you were kind of an outsider. His favorite rock star dies in a tragic hotel fire. He gets a hold of his last album, his unproduced album, and when he plays it backwards, he can talk to his favorite rock star basically from beyond the grave. And they team up to kind of take down the bullies at school, and things start to get really sinister. It's an awesome movie. So this is a go out and buy it all day long. Thank you so much to CP for sending this to me. I didn't do an unboxing for it because he basically was telling me just like, hey, just open it to see what it is. But I really appreciate this as a gift because I love this film. I love this release. Like, this is far and away better than the fan edit movie that I kind of had to buy off of eBay, which is probably the cheaper route if you want to actually check this movie out, because I think this one's a little bit more expensive. But for a lover of this film, for me, this is a huge addition for my collection. So thank you, CP, and go out buy this motherfucker. All right, just about, I don't know, 9 or 10 left. Told you it was a big month. You got The Kid, which I have not had a chance to watch yet. The trailers intrigued me. I really like Ethan Hawke. I like Dane DeHaan, and Chris Pratt plays like the bad guy in this, from what I can tell, or at least one of the bad guys. So it interested me. I like kind of modern westerns. Haven't had a chance to check it out. If you've seen it, let me know how it is down below. I'll do these three together. So with the release of Toy Story 4, they released all of the Toy Story films in 4K, and I picked up all the Best Buy Steelbooks. My daughter is a Toy Story fanatic now. She watches them all the time. She has all of the damn toys. Every time I go to Walmart or anywhere and they have the Toy Story dolls there, I have to buy a new one. I'm a sucker. But all three of these are go out and buy it. It's like, I love this franchise. This is one of the greatest trilogies. I know we got the fourth film, but this, as a standalone trilogy before the fourth film came out, this is a perfect trilogy and one of the few perfect trilogies out there. So every single one of these, cannot praise them enough. Flawless films as far as I'm concerned. Now you have a 4K double dip for Field of Dreams. And the funny thing about double dipping is that I bought this on Blu-ray to watch it because it's one of those classic movies that I have never seen, and I still have yet to watch it. So I have now bought it twice and have yet to watch the damn thing. So I will be watching this soon. I always hear a lot of great things about this. If you build it, he will come. I know basic aspects of this movie, but I've always been interested in it. It's just another Kevin Costner film like Waterworld that I have not had a chance to check out yet. Bought this one on 4K, Hannibal. I do like the Anthony Hopkins Hannibal movies. I really like the Hannibal TV series. Silence of the Lambs is certainly way better than this movie. This movie does have some issues, but I do like Hannibal. It's a little bit long, a little bit artsy, and not quite as on the edge as Silence of the Lambs was, but it's still a very good, well-shot movie. I mean, it's Ridley Scott, for Christ's sake. So I wanted to double dip, check this one out again. I'm planning on possibly doing a review series for the Hannibal films at some point, so definitely wanted to add this to my collection and give it another shot now that I'm older and my tastes have developed a bit. This is one that I bought because I used to love Pauly Shore back in the 90s. I love Encino Man, I love Son-in-Law, and I have never seen Jury Duty. I did get a chance to watch this one day when I had an off day at work, and this movie's okay. This is a see it online or stream it. It's a decent comedy. It's definitely a product of its time. It's definitely Pauly Shore, so I mean, if you either love or hate Pauly Shore, this is his type of comedy where he basically is keeping this trial going so that he can continue to get paid as a juror because he basically lives on the street. His parents left and he has no money. So there's some funny moments here and there. There's some very like dated comedy in it, so it didn't hit quite as well as some of the movies did when I was a kid, but nonetheless, I don't regret buying it. It's an interesting little movie to have. I probably will rewatch this at some point, but this didn't really like latch a hold of me the way that Encino Man or Son-in-Law did. So this is when his career started to dip a bit. So, whoa! I just knocked all the Blu-rays down. Do you see that? Blooper. Jury Duty. Stream it. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. It's the 4K Steelbook from Best Buy. Absolutely had to buy this one. I love the original Ghostbusters. Who does not? That's absolutely a go out and buy it all day, every day. Ghostbusters 2 I have not seen in years. I remember liking it as a kid, not nearly as much as the original, but nonetheless, I had to have the first one on 4K. The fact that it has both of them there, hell, that's just a double win for me. So, don't really have a rating for 2. I haven't seen it since I was like 9 or 10. Man, I feel like it's been so long since I've done one of these because I see movies, I'm like, when the fuck did I buy that? Captain Marvel. So I have a full review for this. This is on the lower rung of my MCU ranking. I thought this movie was decent. There's some good character stuff in here, like with Nick Fury. There's some good MCU style action. I feel like Brie Larson was kind of a weak lead. I feel like Captain Marvel was kind of a weak character as far as depth and story, not weak with strength. So I'm not saying women are weak or anything like that. This movie caused a lot of bullshit regarding all that. But I had to get the 4K because I'm an MCU fanatic. So I had to get all of this. I own every single one of these. I'm going to be rebuying the Iron Man films and the Thor films that they're getting ready to release on 4K. So you'll probably see those on the next off the shelves. But this is a stream it. This is a stream it movie. It's like in my bottom 5 of the, 22, 23 films we've got in the MCU now. So it's decent. Some people really like it. Some people, a lot of people seem to kind of align with me where they're like, all right, cool. And the last one, last and not quite least, but kind of, Leprechaun Returns. I do have a review for this film. I watched it online on Amazon and did a review for it. This is a movie that goes all the way back to the first Leprechaun. It kind of does the Halloween 2018 thing where they delete all the sequels and carry after the first film. And it's a enjoyable, goofy little slasher. You know what you're getting into with these Leprechaun films. It's not Warwick Davis, but the guy playing him does pretty damn good at being as much Warwick Davis as you can expect anybody who's not Warwick Davis to be. There's some really gory kills in this. They definitely ramped that up. I like the fact that they kind of tie in with the first movie. They bring back Ozzy. You know, I do enjoy the first, it's a guilty pleasure, the first Leprechaun film and some of the sequels. So I had a decent enough time with this, but this is absolutely a stream it. And only if you're a fan of these types of movies. Like, if you don't really care for horror, if you don't really care for slasher films, like if you think some of the Halloween movies are bad, you're not really going to be somebody that wants to check out the Leprechaun franchise. It's definitely the B squad, maybe even the C squad of slasher killers. So nonetheless, I enjoyed it enough, so stream it. Man, I got a lot of Blu-rays to pick up. That fucking sucked. Anyway, that's the end of the episode, guys. So thank you so much for checking out Off the Shelves once again. I will be keeping up with this. Time got away from me. It's been a rough month or so with work and just being tired, and time got away from me, and I'm like, well, it makes no sense to do Off the Shelves in the 3rd week of July. So here is your massive episode of Off the Shelves for the month of August. Keep your eyes peeled in September for another episode. It won't be nearly as big as this one unless a ton of shit comes out that I'm not expecting, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know about these titles, quite a few of them that I have not seen. Let me know what your thoughts are on these. Did you buy any of these? Is there any down here that I did not buy that you're like, why didn't you get that one? Let me know down below what I'm missing from my collection, and we'll talk about it. So please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you guys want to check out some social media links, you can check those out down below in the video description. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Twitter. Below that, you've got my Spreadshirt store, which has got all of my Cody Leach merchandise, t-shirts, mugs, stickers, bags, all kinds of stuff down there. They have a huge assortment of stuff that you can put logos on. So check those designs out down below, designed by the great Woody Bowen, and also my Patreon page link, which is also in the video description, which is a great way to give back to this channel, help this channel grow, and get cool exclusive content for your eyes only if you decide to become a patron. So check all that out, guys. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, including past Off the Shelves episodes, you can check those out by clicking right over here.